recognize is there. And it goes back to what we talked about. Like the problems aren't showing up until these people are adults or young adults and they're making very dramatic or very serious decisions. And it could be prevented, it could be avoided. And however, because kids are kids, the nature of kids is that they don't, they don't know what they don't know. They accept that the person who is meant to love them and protect them is doing just that, even though what that person is doing might not be in their best interest. So, like, if a cop is drinking too much or becoming violent, the child doesn't know any different. They don't know that that's bad behavior or not right or not okay. And their spouse might be like, cut it out. You're drinking too much. Like,
Yeah.
you're not the person that I married. But a child's not going to know any different. They're just going to take it and run with it. And then later they're going to be like, oh, now I understand why I was scared of dad all the time, while I was walking on eggshells all the time, why I hated going to Disney World with him, like whatever it is. And so a big piece of why I created it was because I want to build that awareness and I want to kind of be that voice for those kids who don't know to speak up for themselves. And I want to sort of advocate on their behalf, because even if it's not, maybe it's not alcohol, maybe it's not violence, maybe it is as seemingly picture perfect as I've painted my childhood to be, there's still nuances to this lifestyle that other kids are not navigating or trying to figure out. And one example, there's two super simple examples that I give. One is watching your parent put a gun in their hip every day. Not normal. Not normal.
Yep. You talked about that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're young, it's at eye level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so normal. And again, as adults we can adapt. Like, oh, this maybe the
Right.
first few times it's like, oh, this is weird, or like as a spouse, oh, I don't love that. But as a kid it's just like, oh, okay. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, like, Susie Smith's dad hates guns and like will not let anyone who likes guns in the house, which I think we
Yep.
talked about, Tyler.
Yep.
And then the other one, which is one that I experienced personally, is going to court. So simple, innocent, like not a big deal. But
Mhm.
when I was little, my dad would go to court. He would have to, show up.
Yeah.
And it would stand out to me because he would have a very different schedule if he was going into court. Like, he'd be leaving at a different time than normal, and he'd be wearing different clothes. And so, and my parents would be like, I'd be like, what's going on? Why is dad doing this? Oh, he has court today. Cool, cool, cool. But in my brain, I'm like, what does that mean? All I know is from what I learn in TV and media, and bad guys go to court. So, like, is my dad in trouble? Did something happen that he needs to go to court? Like, it again, it's super, like, new. No one thinks about that. Like, it's so simple
Right.
as a parent to be like, oh, he's got court today, no big thing. But as a kid, so much is already confusing, and so much, like, you're trying to make sense of so much of the world, and so much of what you end up with is from just kind of learned from TV, learned from now social media, from what's kind of around you. And so, like I said, it doesn't need to be the big dramatic things. There's still small things that can stand out and be confusing for a child. And if something is confusing for a child, it can be scary for a child.
Right.
And so again, I hope that I can sort of build awareness and advocate on that behalf. But then the other piece of the puzzle is I want cops to understand that you can have an exceptional career. You can have a badass career, an epic career, like all of these things. You can have that, but you can also have a great family, a lasting legacy through your family at the same time. In fact, I would argue that if you prioritize the family piece, the job piece will fall into place kind of by default. Because if you have everything in place at home, if you have your priorities in order, if you know what you stand for as a person, as a parent, as a spouse, as a friend, child, all of these things, then you're going to be able to show up as a cop that much better and that much more even keeled, and navigate not only life, but your career that much better. And I want to ensure that cops understand that all the running and gunning and focusing on climbing the ranks and getting to brass and all of these cool badass things are not going to last if the other piece of the puzzle is not put in place.
For sure.